Well, welcome to the program. You know, the Equus Film Festival is going to be occurring during the World Equestrian Games, and that's going to be in Tryon, North Carolina, just a bit to the east of Charlotte, coming up in the end of September. We're going to catch up with some people about this event in just a few moments.
They are our family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post water.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
And we want to give a great big thank you to Equessentials, ATH Science, some of the best horse grooming and horse skin care products ever. Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, you know, we're having a great time. We're touring around Camden, South Carolina, and Julian Neal is my guest. But we're here to talk about WEG, or the World Equestrian Games, and they're coming up real quick now, toward the end of September, starting around the 17th or 18th or something like that.
That's right.
In Tryon, North Carolina, not too far out of Charlotte. But the Equus Film Festival is going to be doing a long run at WEG, and you're very involved in that, and you promote and do the Camden tour stop. But tell us about what's going on at WEG.
Well, you know, the WEG has been in the conversation for a while now here in our area, just because we're so excited that it's
not that far from
right. I mean, you talk about Tryon, and we're a couple hours away, and so to be able to even have the opportunity to go is amazing for all of us. And then when Lisa Dearson let us know that we would have a home for the Equus Film Festival films and you know, Q&As and that sort of thing, we were just so excited. And so we do host the Camden tour stop here in South Carolina in February, and so we've kind of been in the behind the scenes mode with that, already getting ready, and so it just felt like a natural thing to help out with WEG as well. And so we've I have a film that's a series that my students at Fairfield Central High School work on with me, called the Spotlight Rescue Series. And we just started that this past year, and it won 2 awards in New York in November, so I'm so proud of that.
Yeah.
It's nice to win something. We've won the Best Documentary Series format, but then we also won the Horse Heroes Award, and so that was very special.
Oh, yeah.
Very special.
Yeah.
So that's going to be showing, and then our documentary about Bruce Anderson's work, The Edge, is going as well.
A little bit down in this show coming up, we're going to have a session with Bruce and Nature's View.
Yes, and Marley.
And Marley. Gotta have Marley
Gotta
in
have
there.
the horse, gotta have the farm.
We have a session with Bruce and Marley, and you're going to be able to see Bruce almost every day of WEG doing clinics there.
Absolutely.
And that's exciting. So just stay tuned. When we get done chit-chatting here, Bruce is going to be coming on, and you'll get a real insight into what you can see at WEG there as well. But, you know, you guys it's only, what, 2 hours up to Tryon is not far from Charlotte, and you're only a couple hours
away, and we do some work up there periodically. Anyway, Bruce has a whole clientele. Marcia Sharp is a dear friend of ours, and she's on the board with our nonprofit, and he works a lot out of her farm. And so we have some clients that, as soon as they heard we'd be coming, they're buying tickets and get ready to go. So, and I enjoy so much working with Diana DeRosa, who is the chief PR person, the co-organizer of the tour stops. And so she and I have been kind of talking and planning, and going to do some filming. And of course, she'll be in charge of all the Q&As and the big stuff. She's really organizing that.
Well, she does a really good job of that, and you know, we are doing a radio interview this week with Lisa.
Oh, good.
And the radio interview will be airing on the East Coast on the radio stations that I'm on with the radio show. So we're going to do that with Lisa. Matter of fact, we're going to be taping that radio interview in just a couple of days, so we can get it out prior to WEG. So, and I believe that for at least 3 or 4 days of WEG, I'm going to be coming down to the film festival. Lisa and I have been working on details. You know, when you bring the entire world in to an area, it becomes no longer inexpensive.
That is so true. It's mind-boggling. It's like they've built a city. I mean, the vision that Mark Bellissimo's had, I just can't fathom how much work's gone into that.
Well, and I can understand that. I don't care how much experience you have in doing things like this. When you take it to the world stage, and you have all of these, you know, extremely top-rated, very expensive world-class horses, all of a sudden, you know, you have so many different, we'll call it, for lack of a better word, we will call it philosophies to deal with. But the main thing is, these people are top grain from all over the world, and you got to be ready for them. Because they will not all agree with everything you have set up. Okay. So the undertaking is fantastic, but the undertaking of putting the Equus Film Festival on the stage every day at WEG for all of these people from all over the world to come and see what this Equus Film Festival is all about. It's tremendous.
It is. And we have films that just cover the widest range of topics. So you have things like Desert Flight that showcases show jumping, and then you have a Laura Graves film. There are all kinds of things about raining, and you know, natural humanship is Bruce's topic. So every night there will be a feature film, and from what I understand, that'll be the main thing in the evening for entertainment. So it's a great opportunity as a filmmaker. I can't imagine any other place we could have that much exposure.
Most of the filmmakers or representatives from the film will be there, so you can watch the films, you can do the Q&A with them, and learn all about how this all happened. And I have to tell you, I did not realize at the time we're taping this, we were together a couple of weeks ago in Sedona, Arizona.
Yes.
I did not realize that was John McCain's hometown.
Yes, it is.
And we were right there just a couple of weeks ago. You know?
Right.
And now with his passing, when they said that from the ranch in Sedona, I was just like taken back. I did not realize that that's, you know, where he lived, and he's going to be a senator we're going to truly miss.
But you better believe it.
Exactly. You know, that's another subject. But Equus Film Festival, World Equestrian Games, or WEG, W-E-G as we kind of call it, hoping that you understand. But Julianne, how would they look up the events for World Equestrian Games and Equus Film Festival?
I would say go to equusfilmfestival.net, and not only would you find information about the New York Film Festival that will be in November, you'll find information about all our tour stops. There's also an online platform, a video on demand platform, that you'll find a link to that. We just launched in June while we were out in LA. That launch went up, and then there's also of course, a link for WEG and for Tryon.
Right.
So you can reach everything through equusfilmfestival.net.
And that's just about 3 weeks away, maybe 3, maybe 4, and it's coming right up. So plan on making a run. If you're into horses at all, you got to make a run at the World Equestrian Games. This is only the second time that they have been in the United States. The first time was in 2010 when they were in Lexington, Kentucky at the horse park.
True.
So this is only the second time the games have ever been in the U.S., and you got to go see it. Julianne, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. It's good to see you. Always good to see you.
Now we're going to go join Bruce here in a minute, and you're going to learn a little bit about that here on Speaking of Horses.
Equus Premium Equine Supplements. With microencapsulated probiotics and digestive enzymes, our formulas holistically treat all of your horse's nutritional needs from the gut up. We have simplified the science of equine nutrition while providing highly effective and affordable products. In order to have your horse give their best, you should be giving them the best with Equus.
Hey, we want to give a big thank you to EquiAid. Healthcare products for your horse. If you've got wounds or scrapes or the like, you need to check out EquiAid. You need it for your horse.
Good day, my name is Bruce Anderson, and I'm here with Marley. Marley is, to me, one of my biggest teachers. We've been together a very long time. He's pretty much been with us since we started doing the system that we call Nature's View, or that's the name that evolved. And we call it natural humanship, because this work is not about training horses per se. This work is about working on the unseen thing. In fact, when somebody brings me a horse, I don't want the horse to do the picture. So what we do here is we work on the mindset and also what I call the muscle memory. So there's a system that I use when I work with the horses, and there's a system when I use when I work with people. And the whole idea of this work is to show why horses are actually more important now for human wellness, if not survival, even more so than before the Industrial Revolution, for only 3 reasons. So, and if you want to find out more about that, we'll be at the World Equestrian Games in Tryon, where we are going to be doing 8 days of demonstrations, starting, I believe, from the 17th to the 23rd, and with Marley, which we're quite honored to be there, more so than I can say. So our journey is to show why horses are more important than ever before for human wellness, and to me also that they are sort of the canary in the coal mine of humanity. So what I'm going to start off with showing you with is, with Marley's help, is we just use 4 scene things: movement, direction, rhythm, track. To do any picture, you've got to be able to juggle those 4 things. But I'm using movement, direction, rhythm, track to work on patience, timing, field, problem solving, your negative, positive pole. And it's not so much what he's doing, but the mindset. There are 2 mindsets. Tyrant, which simply means that one is overreacting, underreacting, not doing the picture. Alpha, in this particular case, simply means where your mental tools are equal, if not greater, than the pressure of the situation, because to me the situation is not the problem, but the pressure created by it. And so therefore, once the mental tools are equal, if not greater, you're then able to do the picture. So I show how we basically are conduits. I show how through this work, what is it I'm supposed to do in my life? Become the steward that you are meant to be. This round pen is not a round pen, but a metaphor of your life, a second of your life. This horse is actually not a horse, but infinite possibilities. Your significant other, your co-workers. So I'm showing not only horse people, but more importantly, non-horse people, why horses are so crucial to our survival on this planet. So with that said, I'm going to ask Marley to move. So if you notice, what we're doing here is we're using pressure to communicate, not intimidate. The difference is I'm letting Marley tell me what to do, when to do, how to do. So in other words, I'm in control, giving up control to Marley. In so doing, teaching Marley by example how to give up control to me. The only problem is that I have found is that we, because of our conditioning, can't do that because of our muscle memory. So I'm going to ask Marley to move on. He picks the direction on the rail at a trot. Trot on. So far he's doing alpha mindset. Oh. So like right there, if you notice, he looked a little off, but that's okay, he'll survive. If you notice when he came off the rail right there, the problem was not him coming off the rail, the problem was the mindset that he's using. And the mindset there is what I call tyrant. So I love that he did that. Whereas most people would get upset because it's like, okay, I'm failing, I'm making a mistake. I love when that happens because there are no mistakes here. All we have are opportunities. So right there lets me know that the pressure created by something on the outside there, in this case it would be the camera and the person standing there, Mr. Williams, is that pressure was greater than the pressure I was putting on Marley in asking him that. So at that moment he did tyrant. There's nothing wrong with that. But in the world we've created, you can't do what you want to do. We're going to get in trouble for that. So I'll pick it back up again. So this is not good. So what I'm going to do here is, once he's done what I asked him to do, I'm going to take the pressure off by putting, well, first of all, by shutting off the picture. When you shut off the picture, there's nothing to ask, everything goes blank. The turning around is not for the horse. The turning around is for me. because when I turn around I can't see the horse, therefore I can't ask anything else. And if you notice, as soon as I turned around, he stopped. Again, that is what I call alpha mindset. So what I'm going to do now is ask Marley to go in the other direction. So now why the other direction? A lot of people don't realize that you actually have two horses, the left side and the right side, because of their eyes. And in so doing, and then of course the eyes are supposed to be the brain. In case of the brain, the left and the right aren't connected. So there he's going around. So if you notice, he came off the rail there a little bit. So I make that little noise and apply pressure. So what I'm doing here is this. I'm pushing what I call his negative pole up. Negative, positive pole. It's sort of like the spirit level. The only problem is because in our world, whenever your negative pole goes up, you perceive you're making a mistake. And so therefore, if you notice this time I put a little bit more pressure on than last time. Why? Because he came off the rail again. And it wasn't that he was coming off the rail, but the mindset that he was using. So as soon as his mindset switched, you see right there, he stopped and broke to a walk. Again, he did tired again. I love that he did that, because in doing that, he did nothing wrong, but the mindset that he was using there was tired again. But you have to wait for them to stop before you get after them. A lot of people see them slowing down and want to get after them. No, because he's trotting. And if you get after him, you're doing what I call a double tongue, which is you're asking of something, which is for him to trot, and he's trotting, but you're getting after him. But why are you getting after him? Because he's doing what you asked him to do. You didn't ask for a particular trot. You got to wait till he stops. And then, at that moment, what you get to practice is consequences, which is a big thing that we don't do. So you wait till something happens, and then when he stops, your negative pole goes up. It's not that he stopped that was the problem. Your negative pole went up, which is your spirit level, and that says to you whatever's happening is not beneficial. So the stopping was not the problem. It was your negative pole went up, because if you didn't have your negative positive pole, and that wasn't working, somebody can get in your face and slap you around, and you wouldn't know anything wrong with that. So we're going to put him back out, and let's see what's going to happen up here this time. Hold on. So my body and my reins, the pressure I put on my leg. Pick up a little rhythm, and there we go. Good, and I'm going to release there. So although I would like one revolution at a trot on the rail, all the way around to where we started, and where we started is where we get all four things, movement, direction of the track. So this is kind of where he started over there. But why did I release there? We haven't finished the circle. And this is why. The last time we went past that point, he stopped. And it wasn't the stop that was the problem, which is most people think it's a seen thing. The problem was the unseen thing. Whatever the pressure was at that point was obviously greater than what I did. So at that moment he did tyrant mindset. Not the word in the dictionary. It just meant that you overreact, underreact. He didn't do the picture. So the second time around, notice he went past that point. That meant he did alpha mindset. How do I let him know that that was acceptable behavior? By releasing my picture. When I release the picture, there's nothing I ask of him anymore. So at that moment, his negative pole goes down, because it says to him, everything is okay. When your negative pole goes up, it says everything is not okay. And that's why I say we're using pressure to communicate. And what this work is all about is working on tyrant and alpha. And in here, we're creating a new past, regardless of what you've been through. Because whatever it is you went through in the past, it doesn't make a difference. I use all of that, and don't throw it away. Even the bad stuff, I use it to his advantage. So the bad stuff, when you do tyrant mindset, I show you how you can use that to help you to be alpha. So it's amazing how that works. So we're going to go in the other direction again. And the thing is this. Notice I get after him. What does he do when I release? He comes right back to me. But think about that horse that you're showing. Or you're going for a ride. And you ride your course. And as soon as you finish your course, you drop your reins. How many of them just quietly walk out? Notice what he does? As soon as I release, he comes on in. What would you like me to do? So the neat thing about this, for example, when you're working with somebody and they start raising the pressure up, which a lot of people have a hard time doing because they don't want to do to the horse what was done to them. Or what they might do is overreact. because nobody's going to push them around anymore. And then you're going to find that usually the horse won't come into you because you're overreacting, underreacting. And what happens is the horse starts taking over control. In other words, you just proved to him that you weren't in control. Why? Because you were doing what you wanted to do, not what the situation was calling for. And you're showing the horse that you're not in control. The other bad thing that happens is, by you doing that, the example that you're setting is you're teaching them to do the same thing back to others. So we're going to ask him to go back out. I'm going to let him pick a direction. Now pick up the trot. Trot on. So notice how close he got to the camera that time? Before he couldn't get that close. So my body and my reins, the pressure I put on, notice I'm supporting him, but I'm playing slightly behind the shoulder. Hey! So remember that spot there. So I made that noise. That noise simply means that you're doing tyrant. So let's see what he does at that moment over there. I'm not putting any pressure on him, I'm just supporting him. And very good. Straight past that point, and I release. And as soon as I release, he stopped. And now I'm going to go in the other direction. Why? Because I have two horses. I don't keep working this side, because if I keep working this side, then I'm telling him he didn't do good enough. And that's what a lot of people might do. They might drill some more and drill some more and drill some more. No, because he finally does it for you and then you want it better. No, don't do that. So the simply means that he's doing tyrant. So the opposite of a walk is a trot or a halt. But in this case, he picked up the trot. Hey, hey. And again, notice how it got close to the camera there? And I'm going to release there. Good, so notice he's not coming in. Great. So this is one of the things that you can do. You arc around and you draw him. So in other words, it's almost like asking with the right rein. See, he stepped. As soon as he stepped, I shut off the picture. Then he stops. So my picture is for him to come to me. So now I'm going to arc this side. So now we're going to work on the left horse. Arc and draw him. Come. I don't go any closer. If anything, I go further away. And as soon as he starts stepping, I release. And then I draw again. And if you notice, I'm letting him tell me. On one side is 180 degrees, on the other side is 180. Notice when he starts stepping forward. So he's doing tyrant because he's not coming forward, so I apply a little pressure. And as soon as he does that, that's alpha. Why? Because he stepped forward. He's doing my picture. And I release. And then this side. So notice how I don't have to go that far around him now? Because he's starting to trust whom? Well, not me. He's starting to trust himself. Because the pressure that I'm putting on him, although it might have been reminding him of the past, now the past is guiding him in the moment. So you're starting to recalibrate him. Come on. So the interesting thing about Marley is, I don't do a lot of this work with Marley. Marley works with other people, and Marley helps with the horses that I work with. I hardly do this type of work with him in the round pen. So then from there, we would go, once we get that first part where they're able to come into you and that sort of thing, we move on to the next part, which is what I call the bridge work, where we introduce a rope, and I do different things around his body with the rope. And the picture is from to stand still, and the reason for those exercises are to check and make sure that he's okay with what I'm doing. And it's not the rope and what I'm doing with the rope, but the pressure created by the rope is simulating what is going to happen outside, meaning the pressure that is, not people throwing ropes around him. So I don't desensitize, I sensitize. So by using this rope, for example, my pictures keep your feet still, I would start maybe doing this with the rope. Now I don't start off with this, I start off a lot softer. Okay? And I'll do this with the rope. And notice he hadn't moved. And then what I'll do is I'll arc towards the back, call him, and you see how that back leg closest to me steps in front of him? That's how I know he did okay. Because if he wasn't okay with what I did, when I go behind the shoulder and apply pressure, he would have taken off. Or if he wasn't sure, he would move that back leg that's closest to me behind him so he can take off. But when he does this, he can't take off. And that's how I know he trusts me in what I just did, or he trusts himself to trust me. So the pressure created by what I just did was actually less than his mental tools. So his mental tools are greater than. And the way you help his mental tools develop was that exercise there. Every time he stops, I put a lot of pressure on him, but I let him tell me. That pressure now reminds him of the past. And by keeping the pressure up, at some point, the pressure that I'm putting on him, that he's telling me to, becomes greater than the past. He didn't die, and he's starting to trust. So at that moment, what's happening is you're rewriting the past by allowing him to go back into the past. You're allowing him to build his mental tools up, which to me is your foundation. That's why we're having the problems. We do stuff and get stuff done, but we don't build our foundation. That's why a lot of people are collapsing, can't handle things. To me, that's why we're having the problems that we have, because by not developing what I call the mental tools, we don't have any self-worth. We don't know how to communicate. There's no consequences. To me, the technology that you have today is more harmful because it's giving you a false sense of security. So then another exercise that we would do is throw the rope around his ass. And then I'm going to lead him by the ass. Again, you try this with your show horse at home and see how far you get. So right there, he sort of wanted to step away, and I make that little noise. Why that noise? Because that noise reminded him of when he worked in the round pen just now, and whenever he did tyrant, it didn't work out for him. And when it didn't work out, I put the pressure on that he was telling me to. So any pressure that was being put on him, he now realizes it's his fault, not me overreacting, underreacting. So he's learning how to take responsibility for his actions. And what happens is, he kind of wants more pressure in a sense, or you find that you want more pressure in your life because you're realizing the more pressure you have, the more opportunity you have. And the thing about opportunities compared to mistakes, with opportunities, the more opportunities you have, the more proficient you become. The more proficient you become, the more you're able to grow and be the person that you're meant to be. Whereas when you do mistakes, what happens? You've got to beat yourself over the head with a 2x4. And you're becoming perfect. Perfection, to me, is the end. It's a contradiction to survival. Hope. So, like right there, you noticed, not just the limp, but notice how he's coming with us, and he's able to give to the pressure. So with that, I'm going to leave you with that, because it's not the pressure around on the hindquarter of the horse, or it's not the rope around the hindquarter, but the pressure created by that. He was able to not overreact to that pressure and work off my body, because my body were my reins. And he is strong enough to where we get to work together. So thank you very much for the time and giving you that little bit of introduction to what I called, or the word that came up was natural humanship, the nature's view system. And in so doing, showing why horses are actually more important now than ever before to allow us, to allow ourselves to change our muscle memory, so they're in balance with our mind.
And Bruce, again, you're at the World Equestrian Games, September. Give us the dates again.
If I'm not mistaken, we arrive on the 16th, but we start our demonstrations from the 17th to the 23rd. Every day, half-an-hour demonstration.
And those are in the World Equestrian Games this year in Tryon, North Carolina. Yes. Not too far out of Charlotte, actually.
Correct.
King Barns, located in New Holland, Pennsylvania. If you want a great custom-built barn, you got to contact kingbarns.com. All kinds of customized barns, top-grade materials, and wonderful custom design to meet your request. Please check out King Barns today. Source Nutrition, one of the fine sponsors, Source Nutrition, micronutrients developed from the seaweed harvested off the coast of Maine, aids in digestion, helps with older horses, keeps everything moving fine in your horse's digestive tract. Check out Source